He vanished for 7 years to chase success, but when he finally returned as a billionaire, he found her raising triplets that looked just like him. Then a mysterious woman showed up, holding his photo, and a child with his eyes. What happened next will shock you. Stay till the end. This story will break your heart, heal your soul, and change the way you see love, sacrifice, and second chances. Before we begin this incredible story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell icon so you never miss any of our powerful, life-changing stories. If this story touches your heart, like, share, and spread it to inspire others. This channel is more than just entertainment. Every story carries a deep moral message about love, perseverance, and the strength of the human spirit. She left with nothing. He returned a billionaire to find her raising his triplets. I was not born into wealth. My father drove trucks for a living. My mother washed clothes for neighbors. We shared one room, one fan, one meal most nights. But I had dreams. Big ones. And I had her. Maya. She was light in the darkest tunnel of my life. The girl who always brought an extra piece of bread to school, for me. The girl who stitched my ripped uniform with her own trembling fingers. The girl who stood by me when the world mocked my poverty. When her wealthy father found out she loved me, he dragged her home by her wrist. Told her I was nothing. Told her to marry a banker's son. But she chose me. We ran away with nothing but our names and hope. I worked 2 jobs. Then 3. Then nights without sleep. She would pack my lunch with half of her dinner. Kiss my forehead and whisper, "You are building our future. I believe in you." I still remember the way her fingers trembled as she sold her mother's last gold bangle. So I could buy a second-hand laptop for my startup. I promised her we would have a better life. I promised her I would never leave. But life is cruel to men with dreams. My startup failed. Debt piled up. Landlords banged on our door. And then she told me she was pregnant. With triplets. I could barely afford rice. She was glowing, full of hope. While I was drowning in shame. I told her I would fix everything. I left for the city the next morning. Swore I would return successful. 1 week turned into months. Months into years. I worked in kitchens. I slept on floors. I begged billionaires for 5 minutes of their time. Most laughed. But I kept building. I kept burning. Because every night, I saw her face in my mind. Her eyes. Her trust. Her faith. 7 years later. I walked into the same city, not with dust on my shoes. But in a suit tailored in Milan. CEO of the fastest growing tech company in Asia. Forbes called me the man who built gold from ash. I returned to the old neighborhood. My heart thundered with guilt. With hope. With fear. The house we once shared was empty. No trace of her. I knocked on the neighbor's door. An old woman answered. She stared at me. Then gasped. "You came back," she said softly. She waited. My knees weakened. My voice cracked. "Where is she?" "She teaches at the government school now. She comes home at 3 p.m. And she is raising 3 beautiful children." I stood frozen. My breath caught. Tears blurred my vision. I whispered, "Are they mine?" She smiled. And closed the door gently. I turned to see a girl and 2 boys playing under a tree across the street. All 3 had my eyes. My stubborn chin. One of the boys looked up. Our eyes met. He ran to the gate. And screamed into the house. "Mama! That man in the suit looks just like me." The front door opened. And Maya stepped out. Her eyes met mine. The tray in her hand slipped. She did not move. I took a step forward. Then another. But the words in my throat refused to come out. I had left her with nothing. She had raised everything. And now, her lips parted. But no sound came. Not anger. Not relief. Only silence thick enough to choke me. I wanted to fall to my knees. Tell her everything. The nights I cried into my pillow. The mornings I built my empire with trembling hands. The guilt that gnawed at my soul with every million I made. But all I could say was, "Maya, I came back." She blinked. Once. Twice. And then her eyes welled with tears. Not weak ones. But the kind that carry the weight of years. The children stood behind her. Peeking around her waist. I took another step. The oldest boy whispered, "Who is he, Mama?" I opened my mouth to speak. But Maya raised her hand. Firm. Steady. Her voice. Calm, yet trembling underneath. sliced through the air.
"Why now?" she asked.
Why after 7 years, after nothing but silence? I swallowed the knot in my throat.
"Because I was ashamed," I said.
Because I wanted to be enough for you. She looked at our children, then back at me.
"You were already enough," she whispered.
A single tear traced her cheek. My legs gave way. I knelt on the dirt road, in front of the woman who believed in me when I was nobody.
"In every boardroom," I said. "In every penthouse.
I only saw your face.
I built the world.
But I lost my home."
She knelt too.
The space between us charged with everything unspoken.
"You missed their first words," she said softly.
Their first steps.
"I know," I said.
And I will never forgive myself for that. The little girl stepped closer. She had Maya's hair.
My mother's eyes. She touched my sleeve.
"Are you our dad?"
I could not breathe. I nodded. Slow. The boys joined her, holding each other's hands. Maya looked at them. Then at me. Her voice cracked. "I taught them to be kind. To be strong. To forgive." Her hand reached for mine.
"I never stopped loving you. But I stopped waiting."
My heart cracked open.
And in the quiet that followed, one of the boys whispered, "Can he stay for dinner?"
Maya looked down at them, then at me, and said, her lips curved.
But it was not quite a smile. More like the soft beginning of a memory.
Trying to bloom again.
After years of winter. She looked at the tray she had dropped. Shattered glass, spilled tea, broken pieces.
Much like us.
Then she looked back at me. "Yes," she said quietly. "He can stay for dinner."
My chest tightened. Not from relief.
But from the unbearable beauty.
Of a second chance. The children rushed forward.
One wrapped his arms around my leg. Another clutched my hand, studying my watch like it was a spaceship. The little girl tugged at Maya's dress.
"Mama, can we show him the photo box?" Maya hesitated, then nodded. "1 photo each. That is all." I followed them inside. The walls were modest.
Peeling paint, a single ceiling fan swaying overhead.
But every inch breathed life.
Laughed in crayons and math charts. Echoed bedtime stories and lullabies. On a rickety shelf sat a small tin box. The boys pulled it down with great ceremony.
Inside, photographs. Faded. Worn. Precious.
There I was. Younger, thinner. Holding Maya at our wedding. Standing outside our first apartment.
And then,
photos I had never seen.
A hospital bed.
3 tiny faces in blue wraps. Maya, exhausted but smiling. Her eyes searching the lens. Maybe hoping I would see one day. The girl placed a photo in my hand. "You were not there," she said matter-of-factly. "But Mama said you would have been.
If you could." My throat burned. I turned to Maya.
She stood in the doorway.
Arms folded. Watching me.
Not with anger. But with the tired grace of someone. Who had waited too long. For a goodbye that never came. And a hello that took years. I rose and walked to her. "I do not want to rewrite the past," I said. "But if you let me, I will build the future. With all 4 of you." She did not answer.
Not yet. Outside, the streetlights flickered on. A quiet hush settled. And then, a knock at the door. Maya frowned.
She was not expecting anyone.
She opened it.
A man in a crisp suit stood there.
Holding a briefcase. He looked at me. Then at Maya. "Apologies," he said.
"I am from social services. There has been a report."
"About your children. We need to talk." My heart stopped.
Maya's face went pale.
The children fell silent.
And the past I thought I had left behind came rushing back with a vengeance. Maya stepped in front of the children instinctively. Her voice was low but firm. "There must be some mistake." The man did not blink. He pulled out a document from the briefcase and held it out with gloved precision.
"Anonymous complaint," he said.
"Alleging that the children are being raised in unsuitable conditions."
My jaw clenched. I stepped forward. "They are healthy. They are safe.
She is a devoted mother.
I can vouch for her."
The man looked me up and down.
"And you are?" I hesitated. What was I now?
A stranger to their lives?
A father by blood.
But absent by every measure that counted? "Maya," I said quietly. "Let me handle this." She gave me a long look.
Not trust. Not yet. But something close.
Go inside with the kids, I said. I will speak with him. She nodded slowly, gathered the children in her arms, and led them to the back room.
The door clicked shut.
I turned to the officer. My name is Amon Qureshi. I am their biological father. And I am also the legal owner of Ultratech Holdings. Recognition flashed in his eyes.
Slight.
Quick. Still, his voice stayed cold. Name does not clear accusations. I stepped aside, letting him glance into the house. There are no chains on the walls. No bruises on their skin. No empty bellies or locked doors. What you will find here is a woman who raised 3 children alone, with love and grace and relentless courage.
He studied me. Then the room.
Then the photos on the wall. The children's drawings. A family chart in colorful markers. 3 handmade Father's Day cards. All taped beside a paper heart. It read, "When he comes home, we will be whole."
He paused. His eyes softened. But his duty remained.
I will need to file a preliminary report.
Expect a follow-up. I nodded.
As long as it is fair.
He clicked his pen,
tucked away the file, and left without another word. I closed the door behind him, and leaned against it,
breath shaking.
Maya appeared from the hallway. She had heard it all.
She looked tired.
Older than I remembered, but more beautiful than ever. Because now she was strength. She was history. She was mother.
Why now? She asked again, but softer this time. Not accusing, just needing. I walked to her.
I built my empire brick by brick, but every stone was missing your touch. I came back, because no amount of success made sense, without the ones I left behind.
She exhaled, and for the first time, she reached for my hand.
I do not know if we can start again, she said, but they will need you.
And
I need to know you will not leave again. I held her hand like it was a sacred vow.
I am here.
Not for a day.
Not for guilt. For good.
From the back room, laughter erupted.
The children. Still whole. Still waiting.
Maya turned toward the sound. I will set the table, she said. Almost a whisper. And as she walked away,
I stood still.
In the middle of the home I had abandoned.
Now a guest.
In the life I once promised.
But this time, I would earn my place. And then my phone buzzed.
A message from my lawyer. You need to see this. Someone is trying to claim custody of the children. A woman claiming to be their guardian.
The room spun. Who? Why now?
Maya turned, sensing my change.
Her voice cracked. What happened?
I showed her the screen. Her face drained of color. She whispered a name I had not heard in a decade.
Lara. My breath caught.
The name hit me like ice water down my spine.
Lara.
I had buried that chapter deep.
Too deep.
Maya stumbled back, gripping the edge of the table. Her knuckles turned white.
She cannot be serious, she said. But how? Why would she?
I grabbed my phone, scanning the lawyer's message again. Court papers had already been filed. Claiming Maya was unfit. Claiming Lara had legal standing. She is not even family, I said, my voice shaking.
She was a mistake.
A past I never brought home. Maya's eyes lifted to mine.
There was hurt in them. But more than that. Fear.
She knows about the children?
I nodded slowly. She should not. I never told anyone.
But she used to. She used to go through my things.
She must have kept something. Photos. Letters.
Maya backed away. Do you understand what this means? My mind was racing. She is doing this for money, I said.
Nothing more.
But Maya was not listening. She was walking to the children's room.
I followed.
They were sitting on the floor, building something with plastic blocks.
Giggling. Oblivious.
When they looked up and saw us,
they smiled.
That broke something in me, because I knew what was coming.
Courts.
Lawyers.
Questions.
Cameras, maybe. Their safe little world was about to be shaken. Maya knelt beside them, pulled all 3 into her arms. And for the first time since I returned, I saw her cry openly.
Not for me. Not for the past. But for them.
I will fight this, I said. My voice was raw. I will bring every lawyer in the country if I have to. I will spend every last dollar to protect them.
Maya looked up, eyes burning.
I will not let her take my babies. They are our babies, I said, kneeling beside her. I will not let anyone rewrite what you built.
What we lost. What we still have. A knock. Again. I froze.
Not another officer.
Not now.
Maya stood, wiping her tears.
Opened the door.
A courier handed her a thick envelope. She read the label.
And gasped.
It is from her lawyer.
A restraining order.
I grabbed it from her hands.
Flipped through it.
She was claiming that I was manipulating Maya. That I was trying to abduct the children. That she had rightful guardianship. Because of a forged custody document signed years ago.
With my name. My signature.
I stared at it. It was perfect. Almost too perfect. But it was not mine. I never signed this, I said. I swear on everything, Maya.
This is fake. She nodded. I know.
But the court might not.
My heart thundered. Lara.
The one mistake I made after I left Maya. The one night I drowned in failure and tried to forget. Only to find myself trapped again.
And now.
She was trying to steal my children. For a revenge I never saw coming.
I turned to Maya.
We need to go to the lawyer.
Now.
Before she takes this any further. Maya looked at the kids.
Then at the photos.
The home she built with nothing.
She nodded.
But her voice cracked.
She wants to destroy me. And this time.
She has weapons. I looked her in the eye. She forgot one thing. You have me now. And just as we stepped outside,
a car pulled up across the street. The back door opened. And out stepped Lara.
Red lips.
Dark glasses. Confident. Behind her, 2 men in suits. Holding briefcases. And beside her, a boy.
He looked about 7. My blood turned cold. Because he had my eyes. My breath caught in my throat. The world narrowed to a pinpoint. That boy. The slope of his nose. The curve of his brow. The storm in his eyes.
My eyes.
Maya's fingers gripped my arm.
Hard. Steady. She saw it too.
Lara stood tall beside him. Draped in expensive fabric. Like this was her grand entrance.
Not a battlefield. She waved. Casual. Cold.
Then walked toward us, heels clicking like clockwork.
The boy followed, silent.
His eyes scanned everything.
Curious. Uncertain. Hello, Aman, Lara said smoothly.
Her voice was dipped in honey, but laced with venom. I see you have made yourself comfortable again. Maya stood between her and the door. Her chin raised. You have no right to be here. Lara tilted her head.
Oh, but I do.
I come bearing truth.
She turned to me. Lifted the boy's hand. This is Aman. He is your son. My stomach twisted.
I looked at the boy. He looked back at me. No recognition.
No warmth.
Just quiet confusion. That is not possible, I said, voice tight. I was with you for one night. Years ago.
You said.
She laughed, low and bitter. I said what I needed to.
You left.
You never asked again.
Maya stepped forward.
No court will hand you custody of children you have never raised.
Lara smiled.
I am not here to take them from you, Maya. I am here to take what is mine.
Aman. And our son.
The words hung in the air like smoke.
She turned to me. Choose.
The street was suddenly too quiet. Even the wind seemed to stop. My heart slammed against my ribs.
Choose?
Between the woman who held me when I had nothing, and the ghost of a mistake now claiming flesh and blood? Maya's eyes shimmered.
But she did not cry.
She had no tears left for betrayal.
Only strength. I looked at the boy again.
His hand in Lara's.
Small.
Tethered to a storm he never asked for. And I whispered, what does he know about me? Lara's eyes narrowed.
Nothing. Not yet. But he will.
When you come home with us.
Maya flinched. I am his home, she said. And at that moment, the door behind us creaked open. 3 voices called out. Baba?
Is everything okay?
I turned. My children. The ones who waited.
The ones who never knew my name. But carried my heart in theirs anyway.
Lara scoffed.
Oh, what a lovely little mess you have made.
I stepped toward her. Face to face. I will fix it, I said. Her smile dropped. My voice hardened. But not your way. Not with threats. Not with lies.
And not at the cost of anyone's soul.
She took a step back.
But the boy,
Armin, still stared at me. I want to talk to him, I said. Lara blinked. What? Alone. Maya touched my hand. Are you sure? I nodded.
Because no child deserves to be a weapon. And no truth should live in darkness.
Lara hesitated. Then let go of his hand.
Armin walked toward me, eyes full of questions.
And I knelt. Looked him in the eyes.
Do you know who I am?
He nodded.
My mama says you are my real dad.
I swallowed.
And how do you feel about that?
He shrugged.
Do you like soccer?
I blinked. What? Do you like soccer? He repeated.
I smiled, despite the storm.
I love it.
His face lit up. And for the first time, I saw something I had not expected.
Innocence. Hope.
Not born from me, but needing me all the same. Maya stepped beside me.
Quiet.
Armin looked up at her. Are you the lady from the photo?
Maya frowned. What photo?
He pulled something from his small backpack.
It was folded. Worn. He handed it to her. She opened it. And gasped. It was a picture of us.
Years ago. On our wedding day.
Behind us. Bare walls. One small cake.
And smiles full of dreams.
Maya looked at Lara.
Where did he get this? But Lara's face was frozen. Because she had never seen that photo before. And neither had I. I looked back at Armin. Where did you find this?
He smiled. In Mama's old box.
I took it because you looked happy. Lara's mask cracked.
And I knew then.
There was more to this story than any of us had dared to believe.
The air stood still.
Even the children were quiet. Maya held the photograph in trembling fingers. Her eyes traced the edges of our younger faces. Back when love was enough to fill a home. Even if the walls were bare.
Lara stood stiff. Silent.
Like a wall beginning to crack.
And Armin. He looked at all of us.
Searching our faces like puzzle pieces. That never fit together, until now. I gently placed a hand on his shoulder. You kept this picture because it made you feel safe, did it not?
He nodded. His voice soft.
I thought if I ever found you, you would still be smiling like that. A lump rose in my throat.
I looked at Lara.
You told me he was not mine. You denied me the truth.
She looked away. Her voice, no longer sharp. Just tired.
I was angry.
You left.
I thought, if I raised him alone, he would only need me. But then he found that photo. He asked about you every night.
She turned to Armin.
I was wrong.
Maya stepped forward.
No child deserves to grow up, caught in the storm of broken adults.
Then, for the first time,
she knelt in front of Lara's son.
Her voice was kind. Firm.
Armin, you are welcome here.
Not because of the past.
But because you are part of his heart now.
And any part of him
is a part of us too. Tears slipped down Lara's face. Not the dramatic kind, but the quiet, human kind. Of someone finally letting go. I am not the mother he needs, she whispered. I wanted revenge. But all I ever had was fear.
She stepped back. I will leave.
And I will not fight this in court. But I ask only one thing. Let me still be part of his life. Even if from afar.
I nodded.
Because mercy does not erase justice. But it restores humanity. The children came out.
All 4 of them. Maya looked at them.
3 she raised. And 1 who now needed her warmth.
She smiled. Opened her arms.
And Armin ran into them. Like he had always belonged there. That day, we chose healing. Not by forgetting the past. But by honoring its weight. And lifting it together. We rebuilt everything.
Not with wealth. But with presence. With effort. With truth.
Maya became the heart of our home again. The children thrived. Even Armin. He found his smile. A real one. And I became more than a billionaire. I became what I always wanted to be. A man worthy of the people who believed in me. Moral of the story. No success matters if it costs the ones who loved you when you had nothing. The greatest fortune is not measured in gold or shares. But in forgiveness, truth, and the quiet bravery of those who never stopped loving you. Thank you for listening to this heartfelt story. If it moved you, share it, comment below, and let someone know. You are never alone.